Time to hear from Conor Benn, because Gareth has been catching up with Conor Benn this week. He revealed that his next opponent is set to be either Chris Eubank or Mario Barrios.
We're in talks with Barrios for the WBC World title, which is, if there's anything that's going to make me pick over the Eubank fight, it would be the WBC World title.
Do you think he looked good the other night against Ramos? It was a great fight. But Ramos came back into it, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he looked great. I don't think Barrios looked great. He's a great fighter, tough Mexican, but I don't think he looked great. I think he's built for me. You know, he will come out firing. I feel rejuvenated, full of life. You remember the fights in Florida, the fight in Vegas. I've said to Tony, I don't even know if I want to fight anymore. That was me at that stage. I'm not sure if I wanted to fight. I didn't want to fight, to be honest with you, but discipline got me through. You know, it wasn't about motivation. I was the most unmotivated geezer going. It wasn't about motivation, it was just about discipline. And I've shown more discipline and work ethic and ambition in the past 2 years than I have done my whole career. It's staying ready, staying in the gym, irrelevant of what people are saying, irrelevant of this getting pulled, my own people painting my heart black. I stayed in the gym so that you are cleared of any wrongdoing moment, which I've just had. I'm ready to go. So I feel like I'm full of life, ready to take what's mine. I feel like I've missed out on a lot over the past 2 years.
A lot of people are going to be screaming for the Eubank fight, though. Is that burning inside you?
Yeah, because I want to smash his head in. Personally, that's the reality. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like that, but that's the reality. You don't rub salt in my wounds. You know, never kick a man when he's down. Or if you do kick me when I'm down, you best make sure the job gets done. If not, we get back up and you're in trouble. And that's how I feel.
And tell me about your dad giving an interview with Simon Jordan the other day, saying, yeah, you're laughing because you know what I'm going to ask, saying he'd quite like the trilogy with Eubank Sr.
Stop it.
He said he'd like to fight. He said he's still ready to go.
I mean, no. He's ready to go, but I don't want to see my dad in there. I just don't want to see my dad in there.
What about, well, a similar age man? We watched Mike Tyson and Jake Paul the other day. What did you make of that?
I think it was the best money grab in boxing history. You got to rate the man. You got to rate Jake Paul for where he's come from and what he's done. What, he's got unified world champions calling him out.
Daniel Dubois. Artur Beterbiev.
Marketing, he's a marketing genius.
They're seeing the magnet, aren't they?
What fighters need to do is take a leaf out of Jake Paul's book. Not go, oh, why is he getting paid this? Why is he getting paid that? The reality is, if you understand marketing, you can make fortunes. Why is he getting paid that? Because he knows his clientele. He knows his viewers. So you got to look at him and go, fair play to you. You're still doing the hardest sport in the world, bear in mind. You still got to get in there. You still got to face that fear of what if I get knocked out. Most people can't handle that. Let alone a YouTuber who's not who's not bred like we are. You know, so you got to take your hat off to him for doing what he done. It was sad to watch for Mike Tyson. But you think Mike Tyson's, upset about getting 10, 20 mil in the bank? No, he's having a
He was
time.
the A+++ side in that event.
But that's kids.
I know people in their 80s that were setting their alarm clocks to get up as well.
Yeah, but that's kids who are going, Jake Paul, Tyson's going to win it because he's this. The reality is, anyone with any boxing brain or any common sense will go. Mind you, I've spoken to a lot of people with common sense and boxing brain.
Mike was going to
win.
No.
So actually, no. I completely take that back because I've spoken to a good few friends of mine. They're like, no, Mike's just got a lot. I've gone, mate. Yeah.
It's a young man's game.
Yeah.
Father time or grandfather time waits for no one.
Yeah, it ain't happening. So. Yeah, no, my dad can just be in my corner. My dad will be in my corner. My dad will be sitting next to me at the press conference, providing the Eubank fight does happen.
I think it might kick off between those two because Chris Eubank said he's reconciling or wants to reconcile with his dad. Got to have the two dads involved as well.
You can't not have Eubank Sr. there.
Yeah.
Me and Eubank are fighting because of the old men. The fight is what it is because of the old men.
Family legacy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, how can you not have your dad there? He's your blood.
Conor Benn catching up with you a little earlier on this week. Where was that at?
That was at City Social, London. Beautiful restaurant with the chefs Jason Atherton and Paul Walsh. And it was the launch, by the way, of Huge Boxing that we hope may well be on talkSPORT. Charlie Sims is now a promoter. Tony Sims was there. Spoke to Tony as well. He said very much the same things as Conor. Huge Boxing's going to launch on December the 14th. Origins, it's called. George Lydiard, they've got a big heavyweight. Conor's Conor's going to do presentation and commentary. I'm hoping to work alongside him. Hopefully we'll have a relationship with them with talkSPORT as well. I love all these kind of small promotions springing up right now. Origins, Legacy, New Dawn, they're calling it. Charlie's a very creative guy. He's got this, been in Hollywood for 2 years doing a series over there. He was on Towie, of course. He knows what he's doing. But the Conor Benn thing's very interesting.
Listen, of course it's interesting, and I know that there's a situation. Is it this week where the
3 more days for
UKAD have got
3 more days to launch their appeal
if they're going to launch an appeal? And I know that they obviously did that the first time around. I imagine that the conversation is pretty difficult when you're sat with him, given the context of where we're currently at with the UKAD scenario, right? So people will fully understand that the second provisional suspension was lifted a couple of weeks ago, and UKAD / British Boxing Board of Control have a period of time, 21 days I think it was, wasn't it, in order to appeal that decision. And we have just announced that will be at some point this week.
Wednesday, I think.
This is my take on this, and I don't know whether you know more than me on this situation, seeing as that you've rebuilt those bridges with him. We are still none the wiser regarding the scenario of the 2 failed tests from 2 years ago. My questions to him would be, if I ever get this opportunity, would be, how did clomiphene get in his system? Why was the second provisional suspension lifted? And we've seen from the statement with UK anti-doping that they're not allowed to speak about anything publicly as of yet, unless Conor Benn gives them permission. Will he give them permission to do that in order for us all to have complete transparency with the scenario? Do you envisage a situation where we will actually have full clarity of the situation?
Knowing a little bit more from this week and in the past, I think there is paperwork 3 feet high that I've mired this in a lot of complexity involving UKAD's decisions, what the Boxing Board of Control have done, the route that Conor Benn's lawyers have taken, things that Eddie Hearn has said, things that maybe VADA have made an admission on. I can't go into all the detail right now because I don't have the full evidence of it in front of me, that I think come Wednesday, we may well see Conor Benn applying for his new licence again. I think the trouble is a lot of it is sub judice, and it is mired in legal matter. But like you say, it would be lovely to have full transparency and visibility on it all, because in a sense, Conor doesn't have to move forward saying, this is the scenario, but I can't tell you all the details in public, because he's been through a very difficult time. He's still emotional about it. He's desperate to get in there and fight again under the auspices of the British Boxing Board of Control licence. And like you say, it's one of the messy... I cannot remember a messier scenario that we have discussed in depth for 2.5 years.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.